Hello and welcome to the Crookedrivercast. I am Robert, your host for today's show, and joining me every week is my friend Tom to help us keep track of, stay on top of, or stay in front of, if that's more your thing, of what's going on in Northeast Ohio. This is show 22 on August 16th. Another week, another show. Let's see what's going on. Happy show day, Tom. Happy show day.
Oh, Robert.
Today I get to release my frustrations onto the world.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Right now, I don't care about any of that because I'm towards the end of my 72-hour fast. So,
oh boy, this could be a show.
I don't know if I'm hangry.
Oh, you're beyond hangry. Like, fasting completely? Just
water. Coffee, black coffee, tea, and water. That's it.
How's it going?
It's all right. I mean, I'm towards the end of it. Yesterday was tough. Last night was tough, actually. I don't know why. The first time I've done this is the second time I've done it. First time I did it, I guess around hour 40, 44, so we're somewhere around there. I got kind of like flu-like symptoms for a couple hours, and then I was pretty good till the end.
Oh, wow.
And this time, I didn't get any of that. The second day, I actually felt pretty good until a couple hours before bed, in the evening. Just, man, the hunger just took over. I was like, oh, I'm just going to go to bed and try to sleep through it, But I didn't have a good sleep, so I'm a little crabby right now.
Perfect for the show day. Perfect for the show day. Well, maybe it was something that could cheer you up this afternoon. Have you seen Happy Gilmore?
The second one?
Have you seen the first one?
Yeah.
I figured. Have you seen the second one?
No, not yet.
I recommend it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty good, especially for a sequel.
I've heard mixed reviews on it, but
I thought it was good.
I've mostly I've heard good things about it.
I mean, it's a sequel, so they're never as good as the original.
Yeah.
Very rare occasions it's as good or better than the original. This one is good, though. It's funny, made me laugh. And let's see. I think the biggest thing I noticed, I was waiting for that. There's always that moment in every show, it seems like now, in every movie, where there's a woke moment. There's somebody comes out as gay. There's something about climate change.
I'm seeing that less and less.
Yes. That's kind of what one of the reviews that I brought out took away from it was there's a moment in there where I'm like, oh, here it is, and then they like did a bait and switch. It seems like on you. They thought it was going to be a time when someone comes out as gay, and then nope, it was something completely different.
That's something Adam Sandler would do, or any of those guys would do, because I don't think because he's old school.
Mm-hmm.
And same with all his buddies that he puts in his movies, man. They're all old school. Hopefully comedy's actually coming back. I think the last good comedy movie was actually Hangover, the original one.
Right. Yeah, that was a good one. I just saw that not too long ago, or at least half of it or whatever.
It was, and by good one, I mean like one that wasn't like afraid to do probably inappropriate comedy,
They didn't hold back.
No.
When nowadays they would have definitely.
See, I gotta find a couple hours to watch that myself because my wife just doesn't like Adam Sandler.
Really? Huh. I mean, yeah, I guess I could see
it's man humor mostly.
Yeah.
And she doesn't get it. It's a little too silly for her, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, it can be. If you think of Happy Gilmore, a Happy's place, of his happy place,
Yeah.
It's this hot chick holding 2 pitchers of beer. Yeah, it's definitely. They didn't hold back. They kept that in.
Excellent.
Well, to some extent.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah, definitely good. A couple of little twists and turns in there. It's pretty good. I guess he's got a 5 movie deal with Netflix. Something crazy. So this will be the first one, I believe.
Yeah, one good thing is he put his buddy Rob Schneider in there because I don't think Rob Schneider has been finding a lot of work besides his own comedy routines.
Yeah, seems to be he's been blacklisted since he doesn't bend the knee to the mob. So
yeah,
good for him.
Yeah.
But he's in every Adam Sandler movie. Like he's like one of those staples. You got to have him in.
Yeah, they're all good, close buddies. Was Jim Brewer in there by any chance?
I don't remember.
Yeah, he's probably not in there, but he's another one that's like doesn't bend the knee.
I don't remember. I want to say yes, but I'm not sure.
I don't know if he's ever been in an Adam Sandler movie. I can't think of one, but they come from that Saturday Night Live thing. So I was wondering if he put him in there just as handing some work to his friends.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to look up the credits, but as far as I remember, I don't know. I'll go look, but it was a good movie. I'd recommend it. Go see it if you haven't seen it. If you want a good laugh, me and the family had spent some time and it had some good laughs on it. So some belly laughs from Adam Sandler. So thanks for that.
The girls liked it.
Well, yes. Well, yeah. Actually, I'm trying to remember. They both watched it, but my younger one had never seen the first one.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, they usually in a sequel they cover that. They try to catch you up in case you haven't seen the first one, and they do that a little bit, so you kind of get the idea. But we're going to watch the first one again anyway because it brought back. I haven't seen it in a while. That was a classic. I mean,
well, Jim Brewer was. I just looked it up. I'm sorry. Yeah. I just looked it up. Yeah, he was in the first one.
Was he in the second one?
I'm trying to find that.
I was like, yeah, I guess we could look that up, could we? Jim Brewer, Happy Gilmore 2.
I can't find anything about the second one. I would be surprised if he wasn't. He was Thule in Happy Gilmore.
Yes. He is Jim Brewer, does not appear in the movie Happy Gilmore 2.
Oh, I wonder what happened there. Maybe he was just busy. He is on tour. He was on tour.
Yeah. John Daly has quite a decent role in it, so it's just good.
That's awesome.
Love John Daly.
Mm-hmm.
So the not golfer. He's such a not the typical golfer, which is why he's in the Adam Sandler movie. All right, so again, another week, another show. Let's start with this. Sharrod Brown is running for Senate. Can we where's my, oh, there it is. Yay! Senate.
Ew.
No, I thought we're celebrating because now he's not running for governor.
Oh, he had no chance at governor.
No, but he was one of the guys they were talking about because he's one of the few Democrats that has a name recognition in Ohio.
Yeah,
he was one of the ones there. What is he going to put his name in for the governor's race? But no, now he wants to challenge Houston to the Senate seat in Ohio.
I think that's his best chance, but Houston's got good name recognition too because he's been around for a while. So that's a hurdle for them to overcome.
What do we know about Houston? Do we have any background in Houston? Maybe we should do a little bit of a dig into what he does in one of these shows because, I mean, I've seen some good stuff. I mean, I feel like I've seen good stuff in the recent past since we've been paying attention.
Well, the thing is, there's been good stuff since Trump endorsed him. To me, he's a rhino. So I wonder what he would be like if he's not getting pressured by MAGA.
Yeah, I was listening to the Windsor Report. And he was saying some COVID nonsense that he was involved with. So I wasn't sure exactly how MAGA Houston is, but
I would let that go depending on when that happened during COVID. If it happened the first couple of months, I'm kind of like, well, nobody knew exactly what's going on. But if he was still touting, lockdowns and stuff,
right.
a month, 2 months later, I'd be like, whoa, dude, it's not cool.
And can Sharrod Brown beat him? I think it's possible.
I think the only thing that's going to get that crowd out in large numbers is the marriage.
Yeah, our next story, actually.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think it's possible, but it's definitely going to be closer than the mayoral race, at least from what we can see. And then that leaves
the gubernatorial. Yeah.
I'm stuck on the mayor for some reason. Yeah. So the governor's race, now I think Tim Ryan has to run. I think Tim Ryan has to run now.
For the gubernatorial?
For the gubernatorial. I think he has. I think it's almost guaranteed.
Oh, yeah, because Acton's got no chance at all.
Yeah,
but I don't think anybody does, really. Even if there's a big turnout from the left, Democratic turnout, I still don't think Ryan has a chance.
So there's my question: Are they going to send a good old college try at it and try to get the numbers a little closer, or are they just going to let Amy be the sacrificial lamb?
Well, I guess that would be up to Ryan. I think they would put Ryan in there if he wants to, but I haven't heard anything.
Then I thought, who is Amy? Who is Amy? I think I was listening to a clip from Charlie Kirk on a bunch of other stuff, but he brought up how no one's paid. There's been no accountability for COVID debacles. And then I think, I'm looking about Ohio. We still got the same mayor, same governor. Did it again. Same governor. Now we have the person who helped the governor keep us locked down as a candidate for the Democratic Party. So I looked up, I was like, let me get some more stuff on Amy. So I found, I believe, it's News Channel 5. Who else? We are very heavy again on ABC News Channel 5 clips today, especially Morgan Trowell. That chick is everywhere, man. I don't know she never sleeps. So let's hear a little bit about Amy. Maybe we can see what she's about. So this clip is from News Channel 5 a week after she announced, I think it's about 5-6 months ago, when she announced her run for the gubernatorial race.
Dr. Amy Acton quickly became the face of the state's efforts to fight the COVID pandemic in 2020. Joining Governor Dewine in his daily briefings, she developed the following. There were Facebook fan pages, Rosie the Riveter-type memes, and other shows of support for a woman who was literally Governor Dewine's last cabinet pick a year earlier.
Never in my life did I expect a phone call or a job like this.
A product of a broken home, she faced financial struggles growing up, abuse and neglect, moving from place to place before the age of 12, including a time she spent homeless living out of a tent. Experiences she told me a month into the pandemic that didn't break her, but rather shaped her.
It's made me have a certain resiliency and a focus in crisis.
Oh, really?
And an ability to tolerate.
That ability to tolerate would soon be tested. She soon was on the receiving end of the frustrations expressed by a growing number of Ohioans over the state's handling of the pandemic. There were protests outside of the State House,
held strong,
outside of her home.
Right.
By June, she had had enough.
This week, Dr. Acton told me that she feels it is time for her to step down.
She went to work for the Columbus Foundation, but resigned a year later to consider a run for the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate, a move at the time that came to the delight of many of the state's GOP hopefuls.
I would love to run against Amy Acton. She's like the Fauci of Ohio.
She withdrew her name from consideration in April of 21 and spent the better part of the past 4 years out of the public eye before making this week's announcement she's running for the Democratic nomination for governor. News 5 political analyst Tom Sutton says given the lack of a Democratic bench in Ohio, she has a shot at the nomination.
This time around, there's really no other identified Democrat who's announced or who people are talking about. This is in part because Democrats have failed to win statewide office for years now.
5 years later, though, does she still have that name recognition? Does the name Dr. Amy Acton ring a bell?
It does not.
Does the name Dr. Amy Acton ring a bell?
Man, I love that lady.
Okay, you know who she is?
Yeah, she helped us when we had the pandemic going on. She was like the greatest thing we had in Ohio.
Despite his enthusiasm, given the current political makeup in the state, Sutton says it's the Republicans' race to lose.
Whoever wins that nomination will be the odds-on favorite, I think, against whoever the Democrat is in 26, including Dr. Acton.
In Cleveland, John Kasich, News 5.
She was the greatest thing in Ohio.
That whole clip.
You got any spare change?
Oh, we got an ISO.
Yeah, she helped us when we had the pandemic going on. She was like the greatest thing we had in Ohio.
Hell yeah. So that would, and I'm like, yeah, no, you cannot be the governor of Ohio. No way in hell can you be the governor of Ohio because there was no qualification. I mean, she'll
resign after like 3 months.
Yes, she'll have a press conference or two, and then she'll be like, there might be somebody who shows up with a sign outside her house, and she'll go running down the street. something ain't right with her. I don't know. It's just, so there's Amy Acton.
There's something. There's a lot.
Is Amy Acton the Democrats' best hope for the gubernatorial race in Ohio? Will they just throw in the towel and let her run solo, or is Tim Ryan going to get in the race? Oh, I can't wait to find out. I could actually wait. I could actually wait.
I don't know. The amount of money Vivek is raising, I don't even think they care. They might just throw this one away.
They might, but also the amount of money that Amy Acton has raised is quite shocking. Not just because,
well,
she's the only one there. So I don't know. Maybe that's by default. She's just getting a lot of. I'm just shocked that she would get for the Democrats. Our record, it doesn't even touch Vivek, but it's.
I mean, it's 7 times less. So.
Oh no, I know. I didn't think she'd even break 1 million.
Right.
You know, in that time frame, I was shocked that she was over 1 million already. I should say. So that to me, that's. I mean, they're looking at it going, "Holy crap! Look what we just did."
It's 1 million because there's nobody else. If there was anybody else, I'd be curious. You know.
Right. I think that's pretty accurate. I would think that's the only reason she's really at that level. And then we still got on the Republican side, you still got Tressel thinking about running, which, you know, from what I heard from some people I know who have actually talked to Tressel.
You know some people that actually talked to him?
Yeah. And what he's telling them under his breath, yeah, this is never going to happen.
Yeah. Well, first
it's
of all,
just PR.
He's got a little bit of, well, not a little bit. He's got a good amount of name recognition, but
yeah.
he's got no chance. And when he does talk about any politics, he's a wet sponge.
Well, he sounds like he's giving you a pep talk at halftime because he's a coach.
Well, he does that, but he knows nothing about the topics. He's kind of like
he's a pretty face for
Dewine. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. He got put in there as a favor or something. I don't know. That was strange, but
probably for, I don't know how old Tressel is, but it could be just as simple as for the next gubernatorial race.
Speaking of age, you know, Sharrod Brown's like 72. When do these effers retire?
Why? Why would you?
Listen, he's 72. He'll be 73. I assume if he won, he would. When he takes office, and that takes him to 79.
Yep.
You know, it's like, God, man. It'd be, you know, there are some I don't care, you know, mind, but he's already lost.
Mm-hmm.
They say he's for the working class, but he's really not. I don't know, man.
I mean, yeah, okay. I don't know. I why would you retire if you could just keep getting this cushy job over and over again? Really, it's not like, well, yeah, you'd like to spend some time with your family and go on vacations. Yeah, they do all that, and we pay for it. You know,
right.
You know what I mean? So why would you work? Oh shoot!
Plus all that insider information too.
Yeah, that makes you very, very wealthy. And your family members, not you, of course. Family members are very wealthy, coincidentally. But there's a Babylon Bee video that came out a month or two ago, which is constituents goes to the representative, and he's brutally honest. You know, she comes up, I'm so sorry to take up so much of your time. Going, honestly, I really have nothing to do all day today. This is really what I do. And he's playing with Legos, you know.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, why would you want to work at 74 years old, 75 years old? Well, first, some people do, but
not even that. You know this
is not really work.
You know that one that's probably being redistricted out of her district in Texas. That Jasmine Crockett.
Mm-hmm.
That all the staffers and I don't know which show I heard it on, but you know they have a pretty good insight on how DC works, and all the staffers know each other for all the reps, you know. But they're all like saying that she doesn't do a damn thing except try to make something go viral. She doesn't do any work at all. Right. It's like it's like the cushiest job there is out there.
And in some ways, I applaud her for not doing anything. Maybe I want Congress to do more of nothing. Because usually when they do something, they screw up. They screw it all up. But
the problem is when something is happening, they don't do anything to stop it.
Yes.
Like even the good ones. As much as I don't know if I really like her. I like what she does. Marjorie Taylor Greene, like she'll be there on the floor when there's a vote. She's present. She's always present. And if something's making its way through just because there's like 6 people voting on it, she'll make sure she calls everybody in to do a
roll call vote, whatever they call it. Yeah, where they want
so,
to be present. Yep.
Regardless of what you would think of her policies, you have to sit there and go, yeah, that's what I would want my rep to do.
At least she's present, trying to keep. She gets a bad rep in a lot of ways because she was a regular person who just. I think if I remember correctly, she didn't. She was like kind of a surprise to get into office, and
she's a business owner. Her and her now her ex, I think, but they owned a construction company, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, she's I don't know. I've heard a few interviews. I like her. Sometimes she gets a little
kooky.
A little
wacky.
Yeah, she got kind of, she was spewing some not the blue anon stuff. What's the MAGA side? QAnon stuff. It's not even MAGA. It's just QAnon.
Yeah.
So she was spewing some of that because she didn't have all the information, and it's not. It's easily done. You could fall into that trap pretty easily if you're not reading everything.
Yeah, and I think it'd be nice in some ways if we could give some of our reps some slack, because that, sometimes they're going to make, if it's not all run through a focus group, sometimes you're going to have them say things that are, everybody complains about political speak and politicians being so polished and they're just talking down to me, or, it's all prepped stuff. And then when we get off the cuff stuff, such as our president, this and that, oh my gosh, I can't believe what they, it's like, come on.
Well, here's the thing. I think most people forgot that the People's Congress, the representative, is supposed to be the one that kind of says stuff off the cuff, and it should be, sometimes it's going to be wrong, sometimes it's going to offend people, sometimes it's, sometimes it's spot on.
People. Yeah.
And the Senate are supposed to be the, I guess the
more distinguished.
Yeah, well, that's how it was, right?
Yeah. No, I'm saying it weird like that, but yeah, that's exactly that's what it was intended for.
Well, the Senate was supposed to be the people with higher education, and the reps were supposed to be basically your neighbor.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's like one was much closer to the people. That's the House. And then to slow it down and another check to the checks and balances was the Senate. So yeah. But sometimes I think you got to realize that sometimes you're getting regular people, and that's what we want. And then when you treat them this way, then you get the politicians such as Sharrod Brown, who's been in there for 35 years.
You scare people that want to do good things.
Push them away from maybe even trying for office, because why would I want to go through that when I say something just off the cuff that's a little bit weird? And again, you asked why they don't retire. I'm going to pull this right back around. This is one of the reasons, because there's nobody else there. There's nobody challenging them. So why? There's nobody, so.
Well, there's nobody challenging them because you got to raise so much money. That's another thing. We got to get money out of
That's true.
The thing.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
But on that note, if you got any suggestions for us, didn't like that take, whatever it is, shoot us an email, subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app, share the show with your friends, send us a line if we're missing something that you think we need to cover more in depth. crookedrivercast.com, or email us at crookedrivercast@gmail.com, and we will get back to you. Thank you very much for the email and all that other stuff. You occasionally get some input from listeners, and that's always great. We really do appreciate everybody listening. Really do. On to the next. Speaking of, what were we talking about that tied into this, the gay marriage activists, gay marriage amendment?
About the next
election,
election cycle. I think this will. What happens in the Supreme Court is going to be big.
Yes,
I got my opinions on it. If you want, we'll talk about it afterwards.
Yep. So they actually we talked about it last week, and don't want to beat the dead horse, but now I was asking why they're so worried about getting this marriage amendment. The anti-marriage, I guess, there's an amendment on the Constitution that marriage is between a man and a woman. I believe it is kind of the text of it, and they want to put another one in to overrule that. And I said why? Well, this may be all to do about nothing, because why are they worried? Well, the person who originated this, I guess, we'll see in this clip, has asked for another case to be reviewed. And the activists are worried that SCOTUS is going to overrule, Supreme Court's going to overturn their decision and send it back to the states, where Ohio has this marriage amendment, which would make gay marriage illegal. I got a little clip here. Let's see what we can get out of this. From, again, News Channel 5. Good old Morgan. Here she comes again.
A former Kentucky clerk who denied a same-sex couple a marriage license has asked the U.S. Supreme Court to review her case. In 2015, remember, Kim Davis said her freedom of religion allowed her to deny the couple, but the courts didn't agree. Only months earlier, the Supreme Court decided in Obergefell versus Hodges, a landmark case from Ohio, that same-sex couples have a right to marry.
Well, now Davis is asking the court to overturn that ruling. Columbus Bureau reporter Morgan Trow explaining tonight how LGBTQ plus advocates are trying to fight against this by taking the law into their own hands.
What, really?
It's been 10 years since the U.S. Supreme Court.
Wait, they're going to take the law in their own hands? Does that mean what do you think it means? It sounds like they're going to take the law in their own hands.
Court decided Obergefell v. Hodges, which legalized same-sex marriage across the country, including Ohio. But the state constitution still bans same-sex marriage. That means if the Supreme Court overturns Obergefell, same-sex marriage would be illegal in Ohio once again.
So many of us hear equal rights and think, well, I already have all my rights. I have what I need. And that's not necessarily the case for everyone.
On Monday, former Kentucky clerk Kim Davis, who was jailed for refusing to provide a marriage license to a same-sex couple, asked the Supreme Court to take up a case that explicitly overturns that decision. LGBTQ plus activist Lise Regula says he knows that he can't change what the court will do, but there are other options.
What Ohioans do have control over is being able to put forward ballot initiatives that help to protect our state, help to protect our community.
Regula and his organization, Ohio Equal Rights, just got one step closer to enshrining marriage equality into the state constitution. OER has been approved to start collecting signatures for the Ohio Right to Marry Amendment, which would remove the provision that bans same-sex marriage, something Christian conservative activist Lizzie Marbach is prepared to fight.
That directly goes against our First Amendment right to practice our religion. But also it is spitting in the face of God, because not only does he define what marriage is, but he's who created the sexes.
That's perfectly fine for her to believe. We are not a Christian nation.
Marbach says her faith is why she's also against OER's other ballot proposal, the Ohio Equal Rights Amendment, which would prohibit government discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. She says this is just meant to fight against bills that lawmakers passed last year.
It's important not to allow men into women's bathrooms and boys into young girls' sports.
Morgan, come on. You know better than that. So what did she say? It discrimination against genders, whatever she said.
By the way, is there any more to that clip?
No, that's it.
I got something here from Liz Regula that was speaking in the clip.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Okay.
My name is Dr. Lise Regula. I'm a lecturer at the University of Dayton, live in Columbus, Ohio, as well as am the new advocacy associate for men having babies. I am a trans man, and prior to transition, I served as the surrogate and helped to create 2 happy, loving families. Also prior to transition, I actually donated eggs through anonymous egg donation, and it's something that I was glad to be able to do.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with here.
Okay, so wow. Okay, they're good. They're good because. No, I know. I'm just saying. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just.
In general, I didn't realize. I thought that was a gay man speaking in the videos that I was watching.
Mm-hmm.
That's how good they are now.
That's what they want. That's what they want you to think.
But I guess my point is nowhere in any of the article. This is his third time I think I've seen him in a News Channel 5 segment.
Oh, really?
And they've never mentioned that he's trans. That I remember.
No, here's her. Here's her.
Trans. I don't know.
Here's her little write up on her profile thing. He has been an egg donor and a surrogate, currently lives in a very queer home in Columbus, Ohio, with his daughter, Kat, in memory of his husband.
But, here.
Well, that was different. Yep, lousy, but different.
Can we all say societal breakdown?
Can we say that? Yes, we're seeing it as we're... and then I guess what I was going to get to was Morgan... Don't bring up that that's a trans individual at all, and just use the pronouns as they want them to use it, and don't let anybody know this. But it's a little more than just same on sex and gender. They've got like 15 different things they want to put in this amendment,
right?
That you can't protest, that you can't discriminate against.
But we're not a Christian nation.
Yeah, I mean, huh? We're not. I mean, obviously, we're not a theocracy.
Stop it, Rob.
Whoa. Not supposed to come in on the show.
This is Satan.
I know. Don't let the listeners know. Satan's in
my plan is working.
Yes, it is, actually. Because
what was that?
They want...
That's strange.
Yeah. Gotta keep... Never mind. We'll talk about it after the show because I'm supposed to keep that stuff on the down low. But whatever. I know. We'll talk. We'll talk. We got recordings now, Tom. It's okay. So it is prohibiting discrimination by state and local governments because of race, color, creed, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression regardless of sex assigned at birth, pregnancy status, genetic information, disease status, age, disability, recovery status, familial status, ancestry, national origin, or military and veteran status. So you left out a few, Morgan. That's kind of the thing. That's what scares me about this, is somebody's going to read this and go, oh, well, yeah, there's the LGBT, but there's all these other things in there too. So currently we can discriminate against all these things. So I can discriminate against someone's race, against their disease status, against their age. No, actually, I can't. It's just a ruse to get. I mean, like she said, we got. So you couldn't tell a 15-year-old boy who wants to be a girl. You could not tell this person not to go into a public restroom at a school. Tom, he's here again. Tom, you back? Tom.
Wait, what happened?
Are you off your meds?
I haven't eaten in almost 72 hours.
Oh, so definitely off your meds. We've got to talk after the show. We've got some problems. You need to eat some food immediately. Immediately after the show. Yeah. So they do have something to cry about. I will also like to bring up why we have marriage licenses. Does anyone can we all have this discussion maybe now? Like we can maybe all agree on something. Like maybe we shouldn't have to ask the government if I can marry somebody. Does that not make sense? Because originally it was just a formality, like letting the government know that you two are together, and then it became, what they used to use marriage licenses for? Oh yeah, to discriminate, to make sure you didn't have any interracial marriages. They used that for decades, for generations, actually. Use the marriage license process to keep you from marrying somebody who they thought was not worthy or of a different race. Now, what are they doing with it? How about we had this discussion? Let's get rid of marriage licenses. Let's just have a marriage registry. Like, it's not a, can I get a license? It's, oh, by the way, I am married to this person. What do you think? Am I off the rails?
I am not sure.
Okay.
Only,
I don't know why
only
we
from
need
the
permission.
tax credit thing.
I get that.
Yeah,
but
I guess they don't need a license. They should just a registry.
Right.
But then who's to say who wouldn't just register? You know, a couple of
dudes living together.
Yeah.
Register. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, but then they get the tax credits.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm that's not
well.
the best situation, but it's better than having dudes in women's locker rooms.
I'm fine with that. It's just I'm wondering if that's the reason they don't want to do that.
I get it's what we've always done. I think there's a better way to do it, and I think we could do it without getting permission. So I have a marriage certificate and a marriage license. And
But should it be between a man and a woman?
I don't really care.
What about a man and a dog?
That's you can't marry. You know, how do you have consent from that dog?
Well, it's a smart dog.
I get the slippery slope, but I also, what I lean on is freedom. Less government to me is always better in most situations, and that's what I see in this. Is I said this past shows. Everybody screamed when everybody went, "Yay! I got my rights to marry," and I said, "You just got permission to marry. That could be taken away from you. Why should the government tell me who I can or can't marry?"
Very well said.
I don't know.
No, you're right.
I get it. I don't agree with it. I think that marriage is there for a reason, and that is to keep the family together. It's for family unity. That's kind of what. So that was the idea of it originally. I get how it's not traditional, but when I'm looking at both sides, I lean towards less government.
Okay.
May not always work out the way we like it, I guess. Speaking of less government, redistricting has come into the news. And lately it was Texas. Texas brought it into the forefront nationally because there is all kinds of shenanigans going on in Texas.
Texas is not redistricting. They're gerrymandering.
Same thing.
Yes, but when the Republicans do it, you call it gerrymandering.
Oh, nice, right.
But when the Democrats do it, you call it redistricting.
Right, of course.
You ever notice that?
Yes, that's a good point. Yeah. And I think I brought this on the last show. I was like, well, there seems to be a better way to do this that's not so political. Because it just seems like it's when the one side gets in and has the authority or gets in charge, they gerrymander, redistrict it in their way. And if it flips back, it goes another way. And it just keeps going back and forth. And this is where you have this. But so Texas, was it by choice? I don't remember now. Was Texas by choice? Were they redistricting by choice?
I think they voted on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ohio's by choice. I think this is just a general, they do this every 6 years or something like that. 3 years. I can't remember.
Yeah. It said it's every 6 years, but this time they're talking about it after 3 years mainly because of the right now I think it's 10-5.
Yes.
As far as Republicans versus Democrats in Ohio, and it probably should be more like 12-3.
Right.
Mainly because of the amount Trump won by last 2 times, and also Dewine, because they're winning by like 11 points, you know?
Right. And I think the couple that they're talking about redistricting are Republicans are saying out of touch with their community because they barely won elections and this, that. Well, I have a clip. They kind of go through some of this stuff that's going to happen. But basically what they want to do every few years is look at the constituents in the areas and see if they can redraw so there's 15 districts in Ohio, 1 House of Representative member per district. So we have 15 House of Representative members. 10 are Republicans, 5 are Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
And if they redistrict it in a way where they can make those districts more Republican, it'll go, they can have better chance, or almost a lot of times guaranteed it goes one way or the other, Democrat or Republican. And here's what, there's a new source I found. This is called Columbus on the Record. This is a YouTube show. They got 20, 30,000 subscribers. But I'm imagining it's all left leaning.
No.
This is much more like Face the Nation kind of feel to it. Very old school media kind of feel where, there's one guy and he goes to this guy and goes to that guy. And then you have like a conservative, a liberal, and then somebody in between, it felt like.
Okay.
And they go over what's going on. And the first guy you listen to is, I think he's the lefty of the group. And you'll immediately hear why when he describes a quote that he can't verify. It's really weird, but I should send you this video because I watched this video a few times as I was pulling the clip, and he only blinks one eye.
Maybe he's got a
glass eye.
Yeah, but wouldn't that still blink?
I don't know. That's why I don't know.
Yeah,
He only blinks one eye, and I'm just like, he must have a glass.
Maybe he's winking.
No, I mean, like
blink, he's a lefty.
Blink. I'm like, I'll send you the video. It's
creepy.
I'm not trying to make fun of the guy. I'm like, why does he only blink one eye? I think he might have a prosthetic in one eye.
Oh, okay.
But I kept going like, what is off with this? I'm like, he's only blinking one eye. It's crazy. But anyway, so here we go. This is Columbus on the Record, redistricting.
Welcome to Columbus on the Record. I'm Mike Thompson. Once again, Ohio lawmakers are drawing legislative districts. This time they will draw congressional maps. They will slice Ohio into 15 districts. Those maps could decide which party controls Congress after the 2026 election. Ohio now has 10 Republicans and 5 Democrats representing it in the House. President Trump wants Ohio to join states like Texas in drawing maps that will favor Republicans so the party can maintain its narrow majority in Congress. Jake Zuckerman, the Texas maps were very aggressive.
Think of this one question as we're listening to this, because it'll come up towards the end. Why? There's a reason why the Republicans actually have the majority in the House right now. Mm-hmm. And it has to do with gerrymandering.
What?
Yeah, it has to do with gerrymandering. Listen, it'll get towards the end.
Trying to favor Republicans in theory. Will Ohio Republicans try to do the same thing? What's the word?
Well, there was a headline out a few weeks ago in Punchbowl News where I believe the quote was something of how cruel do Republicans want to be. I can't independently verify that, but I think that kind of thing is in the air right now. And when you look at what Texas just did, Texas's map would flip
he literally
5 current
didn't
Democrat
even know.
seats. There was a headline out a few weeks ago in Punchbowl News where I believe the quote was something of how cruel do Republicans want to be. I can't independently verify that, but I think that kind of thing is in the air right now. And when you look at what Texas just did, Texas's map would flip 5 current Democrat seats to likely Republican seats, and Democratic states of California and New York have immediately responded and indicated they're going to do the same thing for Democratic candidates. So I think it's pretty clear this is becoming a pretty bare knuckle, pretty plainly partisan brawl.
Mark, there's 5 Democrats now. Realistically, how many seats could Republicans pick up if they drew more favorable maps to them?
The high end is 13. 12 is more likely. Marcy Kaptur in the northwest part of the state has been well out of step with her constituency for the last few cycles. Amelia Sykes in the greater Akron area is also fairly extreme on the left. Both of them are at risk. A lot of this will depend on what kind of year the Republicans have in 2026. Normally, we would see the party that's in the White House to suffer losses in the House races. But Donald Trump is on a tear of great achievements. If the economy continues to be strong, it might be a much more mild effect in 2026.
Herb, is That's the names you hear most often. Capter, Sykes. Marcia Capter she had a narrow win last time, but
so
she's still
Sykes.
Pretty popular.
Yeah. Those are the two. But I think, one question will be: will the leadership and the Republican leadership in the House and the Senate have the appetite to do this? Because it'll be a very messy process. It'll go through lots of stages and all of that. And they could decide that we don't need to do this. I mean, even though they're being pressured by the White House, but they could say, look, we'll just make some modest changes in the districts and leave it the way they are. That's probably very naive on my part, because typically when you have the pen, you want to, in fact, take advantage of it. But it is it's a very complicated process. The Republicans would win at the end of the process if they decide to go very, very aggressively.
That's because they have supermajorities, and the Supreme Court now has changed since the last time.
Yeah. It's interesting.
There you
go. In the last election cycle in the state of New York, the New York legislature, Democratic controlled, ignored changes in the New York Constitution and they got very greedy and created a set of districts. And of all things, the Democratic New York State Supreme Court overturned the Democratic legislature. You don't hear that often, and forced them to go back. And it's actually the Democrats failed to pick up 3 or 4 seats in New York, and that was the difference between control of the House. And so as people talk about redistricting, you always talk about midterm elections, the wave, the midterm effect or whatever, but I think we're getting more sensitive that this redistricting can have determine the outcome.
Huh. So one of the reasons, maybe, if not the biggest reason, is that the Republicans control the House right now, he's saying, is because they failed at gerrymandering New York and creating 3 more seats, 3 more Democrat seats. I thought that was a great little comparison there, because everybody's complaining about the gerrymandering, yet.
Well, look at Massachusetts, Illinois.
That's what Newsom's saying. We're going to gerrymander, or California.
Okay,
go ahead. You've already done it.
You've already done it. What are you going to pick up 1 seat? Not even.
There's some constitutional thing in California they have to do. It has to go for a vote. I don't think Newsom can do it on his own.
They have to put it up for a vote there. So he's just he's running for president. Yeah. But I wanted to get back to actually I forgot to mention in the last segment there about the gay marriage. But the only way I think Democrats have any real chance in Ohio, especially, is if the Supreme Court takes on the case of marriage equality.
Yes, that'll clear the base.
Yeah, and they're going to be choosing or deciding in June of next year if they're going to take the case on, which I don't think they will. Thomas, the greatest Supreme Court justice ever wants to, but I don't think they'll take it on. I just kind of want to throw that in because this kind of works into this too.
Sure.
Redistrict. What do you think about the redistricting here in Ohio?
I mean, it's something that has to be done. I know, I was watching more of this clip on Columbus on the Record. They had mentioned later on about there was a proposal a couple of years ago to change the process of redistricting to make it a nonpartisan, as nonpartisan as you can. And it was shot down. And I couldn't tell by which side, who shot it down. It has to be done. It has to be done. I just wish it wasn't so politicized. I mean, again, this in most ways would benefit my point of view, the way they're doing it now. I just always go, now. This helps me now. What about 15 years from now? What if things change in Ohio? I mean, it would take a lot, but I mean, we are talking about Republicans here, so
Republicans never take the bull by the horns. They always kind of tread lightly, whereas when the Democrats do have a bit more pull, they'll just they go for the knockout punch. Republicans never do.
Right. I think part of that is, so my feeling is, just because they do it doesn't mean we should have to do it. I guess that's not necessarily a winning strategy from time to time.
Well, right now, I think that's what you got to do.
But you got to do it. I think it's out of. If you ask my opinion, I think it's out of control. That's what I think. You see some of these states like Illinois, where literally it follows a freeway across half the state, so they can connect two of these communities together to make sure whoever's in that district stays in that district.
Massachusetts is 40% Republican, yet there's 0 Republican representatives.
Yeah.
So
you got to balance it.
Yeah.
I think more importantly on this part, which is I think is going to help more, but it won't be in 26, is that the census to get rid of to get out the illegals out of the vote. I think that's
non-citizens.
The non-citizens.
Yeah, even if they're okay.
That's going to be a big battle, but I think that's a big one too.
I'm kind of confused by that because right now, that's what Trump would like, and I think that's a good idea. I don't know why illegals are represented in our census, but didn't the Supreme Court say no, we can't do this the last time Trump was president, or was it because of a timing thing?
It was
I think it might have been because of a timing thing because it was too late to change the census before they sent it out.
Maybe
basically.
That's why. And then I think there was a ruling on it, and he said no. And I think it might have been because it would have delayed it, and it has to be done every 10 years or possible. And so the argument is, real quick on the census part, is the wording in the Constitution says all persons shall be counted. It does not say all citizens.
Well, you're going to have to go back to the Federalist Papers and see what they meant, right?
Yes.
Because I think what they meant by that was the slavery, the slaves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they were even thinking of illegal aliens because they are, if you're here illegally, you are a criminal, basically. So...
Yeah. I think it needs a ruling on that and clarification. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a huge, if that gets through the way they want it, that'll be a huge change. There's a lot of California. There's a lot of places around here that.
If that changes, I think that the Democrats are done for a couple of generations.
Yes, I think that's the only way. In a lot of places, they're staying in.
Yeah.
In power.
Yeah.
That wraps up redistricting. So there's going to be more about this. They want to try to cut out 2 or 3 Democratic seats and make them Republican. And I think they're going to do it. And as I said in this clip, Republicans have a majority in this state Supreme Court. So if they do redistrict and there's a lawsuit, it's almost guaranteed to. The state will win. The Republicans will win the lawsuit because they control Supreme Court. So here we go. I mean, if it makes sense, do it. But in this case, I guess you got to fight fire with fire sometimes because they redistricted some of these blue states like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, enough of that. Let's move on to the next one, which for in case anyone doesn't remember, along with Dewine's vetoes of I don't know how many 60 vetoes or 50 vetoes or whatever he did in the last budget line item vetoes. A lot of them were on property tax, but he did promise a property tax working group. Well, that working group has met.
Oh, I think they got some great ideas.
Yeah, wait till you hear what the ideas are. They're so innovative. I can't even believe it. So I had a few places to get a clip on this. And I again went with News Channel 5, and I really tried not to, but they had the best clip because they actually had snippets from the meeting, from inside the meeting, and I just want to point out kind of some of the attitudes that we're dealing with, and then also listen to some of these great ideas that they came up with because they may sound familiar, So let's start with that. Yeah, that's my clip setup, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. So basically, News Channel 5 again, and it's Morgan Trowell. I told you, she is everywhere.
Busy.
She's busy. Working group. Here we go.
Ohioans like Brian Massey have been begging lawmakers for some relief, and the clock is ticking for solutions.
We don't think that people realize what's on the line.
The state's new property tax working group met to discuss each of the Republicans' proposals to decrease taxes, all of which could impact schools. The members debated capping schools' rainy day funds, changing the school funding formula, allowing counties to take money away from schools, and limiting property tax increases. And Fort Fry School Superintendent...
Hold on a second here. Do anybody recognize any of those? Tom, recognize any of those ideas?
Yeah, weren't they in the bill?
They're all the things that Dewine vetoed.
Right.
So they're all discussing things to bring up to Dewine, and all of them are the things he vetoed. We continue. Pull this back just a little bit. There we go.
Increases. And Fort Fry School Superintendent Stephanie Starcher spoke out against another proposal, banning emergency or substitute levies on the ballot, or a request for an increase to a current levy.
We're actually adding to the taxpayer burden.
The chair of the group, Bill Site, said limiting these levies would prevent unclear ballot questions that raise taxes.
Substitute for what? Because the voters really have no way of knowing what the hell are we substituting for.
Lake County Auditor Chris Galloway says that this option would hurt local governments.
If there's someone that thought that doing this was going to change the property tax situation for Ohioans, they're out of their mind.
But he was a fan of allowing a 3-person county budget commission to unilaterally take money away from schools if they deem it necessary.
Having that hammer behind us to say, please lower your levies. If you don't, we will do it for you.
Hamilton County Commissioner Denise Driehaus said that this was undemocratic.
If 3 elected officials in Hamilton County decided to overturn the will of the people, I'm going to have an issue with that.
Massey says that he wants voters to have a choice and knows that the taxpayers have to pay for municipalities, but not at his expense.
To vote for property tax levies, you're funding your own demise.
The group will continue working and discussing policy until their deadline at the end of September. At the Ohio State House, I'm Morgan Trout reporting.
Now, a couple of things here. Not at his expense is not exactly accurate. I think that's kind of doing them wrong. So Thomas Massey is one of the ones leading up the amendment to abolish property taxes. We've played clips of him before. We talked about him before on the show. At the expense of his house. That's what he meant. That's what you should have said. At the expense of pushing seniors out of their homes that they've been living in for 30, 40 years. And I love how they package it. Well, the auditor says, well, if you think this is going to change property taxes, you're out of your mind. But he's okay with, what was it, a group of 3 individuals who, how did Morgan say, would agree upon taking money away from schools. Or you could say giving money back to the taxpayers that schools don't need. No, but we're going to package it as and frame it as taking money away from schools. So, Morgan, come on. And I think these are kind of the you can hear some of the attitudes that they're dealing with. People don't know what they're really asking about, or we're really going to increase the tax burden on the. No, the problem is the tax burden. Leaving room for Tom.
I don't have much to add to that.
Well, there's 2 stories that actually go along with this too, because this one I pulled from last week that I pushed into this week from last week. Auditors talk property tax future and fight to end it. So this is articles WKBN 27, I think, out of Youngstown, and they're talking to their county auditor, and the article really goes through 23 to 24, the increases and how the people were able to defend or fight the increase. And there were some errors, but basically they did a really good job. And things are going up, and on how you can. They do make some mistakes occasionally, but pretty much they're good. But I think the attitude is this. Here's a quote. It's unrealistic. You think about it. There are 3 taxes: property, sales, income tax, right? There are only 3 ways to get money, really, McKenna said. would you have to increase income tax? And right now, the law does not permit a lot of entities like townships can't put on income taxes. So where's the money going to come from? It's unrealistic.
No. What's he? Okay, so
he's saying
the township doesn't get income tax. You know, that's one of the nice things about living in a township is that you don't get the regional income tax bill.
Yep.
But the state still collects income tax, and they can distribute it. So yes. I don't get what this crybaby is talking about.
And that's the same. The auditor in the clip was like, if you think this is going to change property taxes, you're out of your mind. And this guy's saying, what I hear him saying is, what are we supposed to do? There's only 3 ways to tax people. Really? I think there's about a jillion ways to tax people. You could tax them as long as it gets passed and approved. You can figure out any way. You could tax fries $18 for a large and $9 for a small, and put it towards schools if you really wanted to.
Well, but his argument is, you're right.
It's ridiculous.
It's retarded.
There's only 3 ways to get taxes. Bull crap. There's a lot more than 3. You can tax people on anything.
But you could still do the income tax, which I think is the fairest way to do it. It would just be a different way to go about it. Then each school district would have to get together with the state, tell them what they need, and the state just distributes it, and they figure out the income tax. It's not a difficult thing to do.
It boils down to one thing, really, is in the state constitution, it says the state shall supply or I forget the wording now. Fund. Yeah, the state shall provide. I think it is the schools funding, or so it is. That was the whole ruling 4 times on the Supreme Court of Ohio. It's unconstitutional because of this one line.
Right.
It says the state shall provide. So, yes, like to your point, income tax, that would be the biggest way. That's how the state gets most of its money, through income tax. But the state could just put a school tax on.
I think the guy's crying because he'd lose his job. Well, I think there'd be a lot of government jobs gone if they did it the right way.
Yeah, because it'd be a lot less need for all these people. And to my next point, he even brings up what I've brought up before, which is, hey, first of all, let's start here. It doesn't take $20,000 a year to educate a child.
Oh, why not?
How can hundreds of schools? I'm a conservatively say hundreds of schools. I would bet if I looked into it, it's probably more than 1,000. How can hundreds and hundreds of schools in Ohio do it for way less? In some cases, half of what the state average is. Why? Well, maybe here's a good point. Maybe he says, this guy McKenna, I think is his name. He's an auditor at, I believe, of Youngstown. He says, and he questions, it should say, do we need, but he just says, we need 14 school districts in Mahoning County. Oh, he's Mahoning County, I guess, which I think is up in the Youngstown area. Do we need 14 school districts in Mahoning County? So every school district has a school board. There are dozens, and just in Mahoning County, dozens of people that are on the payroll that could be eliminated if they consolidated. Maybe make it 7, not 1. Like Florida has done. And I'm not saying this is a great option. I'm just thinking, let's look outside the box a little bit, people. What have other states done? Florida, every county is a school board, period. Thousands of jobs would be lost and millions would be saved. Probably billions. Because you would literally have not to pay all these people $150,000 a year.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're looking at ways to reduce the tax burden, but they're not looking at ways to reduce the cost. Where's the inefficiencies? Nobody wants to look at that. I just want to talk about how complex it is, Tom.
Well, if they look at that, they would have, if somebody honest looked at that, they'd be like, well, we don't need you. We don't need you. We don't need you.
Yeah. They're looking. So the property tax amendment is still going. And the last I looked through, when I was looking through this, this story, one of the other news outlets that I was looking at had mentioned speaking with the Reform Property Tax Group the group that's pushing this amendment to abolish property taxes, they are looking to get on the May 26th ballot. And it doesn't, they're almost halfway.
That's like the primary ballot.
That's the primary ballot for the November election.
And which the vote for the property tax to abolish property tax, they want to get on that one?
Yeah, they're pushing to get on the May ballot.
Oh, okay. I wonder why.
I don't know.
Do they want more
low turnout? Would it be better for them? I don't know.
Well, less time for the fear mongering.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot more people for this than there are against it, I would think. So maybe a primary would be better, they're thinking. Or maybe they're just thinking, get it on the ballot as soon as we can. I don't know. I thought we mentioned that because
I didn't think I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
But you know what? If it did pass in May, that would give the governors a gubernatorial race ammunition.
Well, give them something to talk about for sure.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What you going to do, Amy? Because so far I follow her on X and
she says nothing.
Nothing. There's no plan for anything besides
no.
Yeah, how bad everything is.
She's never said anything about policy. Not a once.
That is true. That's why I followed it, because I figured I'd see something eventually, but no. Anywho, let us know what you think about this story or the other ones we've talked about. crookedrivercast.com or email us at crookedrivercast@gmail.com. Go to your favorite podcast app and subscribe. We really appreciate you listening. We have fun doing this show. We hope that comes out in the show. It helps us educate ourselves. We're hoping we can educate you at the same time. So share the show with your friends. If you know anybody else who's always been like, what the heck's going on in Ohio? Share the show. Tell your friends. We appreciate it. Check. I'm doing better this week, Tom. Doing better.
You're doing very well. A+.
I saw this come across, this next one, and I thought we could bring it up real quick at least. And the fact, I keep seeing this more and more in my industry, and I think people need to know about this. Why should data centers matter to people? Why they do matter to people, and maybe not in the way that you would think. Like, okay, data centers, computer stuff, I can, when I post my food pics on Facebook, it gets up there faster. The AI tells me, how to speak a little quicker. But really, no. I mean, that obviously affects you in that way. But the other way it's been affecting us in Ohio and surrounding states, it's not just Ohio, it's a bunch of states. And some of them are trying to correct this. So the headline for Channel 3 WKYC was, states feel pressure to act as evidence mounts that data centers share blame for higher electric bills. So what's the basis? What's the genesis of this story, as they would say? Well, basically, as they put more and more data centers, let's say in Ohio, they have to build up infrastructure. So these places are massive buildings, usually multiple ones on site, and they take an enormous amount of power and water and all kinds of resources. And in a lot of places, it costs a lot of money, a lot of investment for infrastructure for the power companies. So how does this affect us? Well, when the power companies go back to the regulatory agency and said, we want a rate hike increase, and a regulatory agency says, well, why would you want that? And they say, look at all this infrastructure we put up. We've put all this investment in. We want a rate hike. Okay, well, that seems valid. Okay, we'll get you approval of this rate hike. So the price goes up. But really, the people who are using this infrastructure are these huge multi-billion-dollar companies who have all gotten a bulk deal on a lot of this power. A lot of times they're getting a deal or a discount because they're such a large user. So then what happens then is the extra money that they're not being charged for the infrastructure. We are being charged for the infrastructure, or at least it's being spread out to everybody. There's a lot of reasons why our power is going up. Supply and demand is the other one. The supply is getting pretty thin in Ohio.
Tell me about it, because I'm looking at my voltmeter here in my studio, right. And it's running about 5 volts less than it normally does. That's what it's been doing for a while. There was times it would drop under 110.
So when it gets warm out, the electric companies they try to limit the power because they got to share it and try to keep the grid from going down. And now this is in Ohio. I think it's double because over the last 10 years, what we've done in Ohio is closed nuke plants. I think the one is going to stay open. It hasn't closed yet. We at least closed one nuke plant. I think they're talking about keeping the other one open. And at the same time, we've also gotten rid of all the coal power plants that were used during this time, during the peak season, middle winter, middle summers, peak season, mostly middle summer. At the same time, we're building up all this infrastructure in Columbus and around the state. And like I said, there's over 100 data centers in Ohio projected in the next 5 years.
Yeah, people got to realize the future of energy is nuclear.
It is nuclear. What's happening from what I see is we've talked about a little bit. They've put legislation to speed up the approval process for power plants, and they're relying heavily on natural gas because we've got tons of it sitting right underneath the state. And they could basically just pull almost right from the source and pump it right into these gas fired plants, which are again way better than coal. It's just we decided to take the coal plants down before we put the infrastructure in.
I got a question though. Okay, so it's causing energy costs to go up for the individual consumer, right?
Right. Yep.
Now, the counties and the cities, or I don't know how it exactly works, but I would think or the state is collecting quite a bit more tax on this, right?
On the bills, on the actual power bills themselves?
No,
probably.
Not the bills. I'm talking about just
data centers.
Data centers.
In some cases, yes, but in some cases, they also get tax abatement for X
Well, they get
years.
tax abatement for a while, but they are collecting more tax. I mean, you don't get an abatement without actually there being more taxes produced in other ways. Meaning from employee income tax because you got more employees, I should say.
But yeah.
Okay, so there. Excuse me. They are generating more tax revenue. So why can't they take some of that extra tax revenue and offset the cost to the individuals?
I don't know. I mean, good point. I would come back with these data centers do not employ a lot of people. Maybe construction-wise they do, yes.
Construction-wise they do for a while, and there's still maintenance.
I got a better idea, though.
Okay.
How about you add a service fee to Amazon or to Google, the billion-dollar companies?
Yeah.
They're the ones that should be, if you're going to put data centers in the middle of nowhere and you got to put all these power lines in and substations and stuff, to me, that's what I'm seeing as the problem. And that's what this article is kind of going over is everybody's footing the bill. The small business and individuals footing the bill for infrastructure that is only needed because these big companies are coming in, putting these huge buildings in and tapping into the power grid. They should be paying for this infrastructure, or at least part of it, or a large chunk of it. Because in the long run, it does is good for everybody in the surrounding areas because you have more robust and a newer infrastructure. But the reason it's being put in is because these big companies are coming in. They should be paying for most of it, if not all of it. But it's a way to incentivize them to get here, I think.
Yeah, you want them to come here, but okay, so why do we want them to come here? I thought it was because it creates jobs, but it's only temporary jobs.
Construction jobs, and there's other jobs that probably come about. But as far as the data center itself, it's a data center. There can't be that. There's not 1,000 people at a data center. Yeah,
so it's not creating what you would call like a economic nucleus of people like people aren't going to open up a restaurant nearby because they're going to get lunch traffic, right?
Yeah, I would say a little bit, yes, but not like enough. A typical office building or a cluster of industrial park where they have a lot of people going there every day. I don't know for sure, but I just imagine these are highly automated facilities. They're huge buildings, multiple on site. So there are going to be some and high paying jobs too. So to your point, yes, but I don't think that's where I think you you tax the companies that are doing this. I mean,
no, you're right. No, and the high paying jobs aren't going to be local. They're going to be working out of.
Good, yeah. And there are some tech, because you're going to need more technically advanced people to repair these computers. Hands-on kind of stuff. So there's
maintenance, but
maintenance. Yeah, there's maintenance. There is some benefit to community as far as jobs. It's just not when you build an industrial park or some office buildings. That's where you get a lot of income tax, because you got a lot of people just coming there every day to work and this and that. So I would just, yes, supply and demand is part of it, but there's also a part, because we just had First Energy, I think, just went to the regulatory agency asking for a rate hike. And one of the reasons is because they took away that the tax off your bill for these coal-fired plants in Southern Ohio that were out of date and inefficient. And so they want to raise it to cover that, but they also had mentioned all the infrastructure they had been putting in, which I'm not saying it's all for data centers. They do infrastructure investments continually, I would imagine.
Right.
We got some old infrastructure. But just to keep everybody, hey, it's not all greed from the power companies. Some of it is, I'm sure. Next is some shenanigans. Shenanigans are afoot, Tom, in Bellbrook High School. Bellbrook High School, which I believe is around Dayton area, I want to say, between Dayton and Columbus, something like that.
Oh, I don't see a link for that.
I didn't put a story in there? Oh, I'm horrible. Oh, I am a horrible person. There's no story in there. Well, I got a clip, so you can listen to what's happening in the clip. So they showed up at school for the first day of school, and the library was closed. Can you think of maybe why? They didn't know which books they were allowed to put out and which they weren't, so they had to close the library down until they figured it out. So here's the clip. And I apologize. This audio in this clip is horrible. It goes up and down, loud and soft. So I try to find a happy medium. See how I did.
Here at 10 o'clock, Bellbrook Sugar Creek residents were shocked today to learn from their kids that the library at Bellbrook High School has been closed on the first day of school as a result of a new policy enacted back in April. 2 News reporter Evan Bales is in Bellbrook getting answers about why this happened.
Jack, Bellbrook Sugar Creek schools heard from multiple residents Thursday about that new rule regulating sexual content and gender ideology in books. School board members also tried to clear up some misconceptions, but some parents still think the policy needs more time.
The library needs to be open tomorrow.
After a new Ohio law was passed back in April, Bellbrook Sugar Creek schools enacted a new policy where they interpreted the definitions of those terms and also required parents to sign a waiver to permit their kids to read that content.
If something is inherently private, it would be if you did it on a park bench, would an officer arrest you for it?
But parents soon found the library was closed altogether, with the district superintendent saying they needed time to
reviewing the materials in the high school library.
April. Since April.
Parents I spoke with said they weren't pleased with the direction the school board had taken, several saying the policy was too broad and that they can sort books and keep the library open.
I'm, of course, very disappointed. I think libraries and access to information are pivotal.
We can come together on middle ground in some of these places, and the middle ground here is don't close the library.
A staff member I spoke to off camera also confirmed that some English teachers are removing classroom libraries to avoid controversy altogether.
If you feel that teachers removing their classroom libraries is making you look bad, or that the library of the school makes you look bad, it really isn't. It's your own actions and policy that is making you look bad.
It's not clear when the library is going to open back up. The district superintendent says that it could be days or weeks before it's open again. Reporting in Bellbrook, Evan Bales, 2 News.
They only had since April, Tom, to figure this out. And they just don't know they're very confused on what books.
See, I thought it said Bellbrook Sugar Creek, so I thought this was Amish country, but this is kind of close to Dayton.
Yeah.
Dayton and Miami-burg.
Yeah. It's really quite it's going to take a little time to start on that process. That's cool. April, they haven't even started on it yet. And to me,
they were off. They got summer time off.
They were able to enact a policy in April, but not figure out what to do. How to. They know exactly which books everybody's talking about. Stop playing games.
Silly.
Just because it says girl or she in the book doesn't mean no. That's not they're talking about books that.
That's
BS, for sure. And next was got breaking news, Tom. Breaking. This came in yesterday, late last night. I saw this coming across X, and I thought I was going to push it to next week. And then I saw this morning another post by the Cuyahoga County Board of Commissioners. And then I was like, this is interesting. So the Browns got a shocking letter, they said.
Shocking
letter. They were quite confused by, and we'll see in this clip why they're confused. But they got a letter from the ODOT Transportation Safety Board, Ohio Department of Transportation Aviation Division, on August 1st. That the letter says that the stadium's going to be too high to be that close to the airport. And I thought, well, this is interesting. And I didn't think it was, I think it was going to be a story we could talk about. And then I heard the clip, and then I saw another clip from Ronayne, and I figured, well, now we got to put it in. So let's hear 19 News. Yeah, not Channel 5. Imagine that. 19 News on ODOT says no to the Browns.
Everywhere, Cleveland's #1 news at noon starts now with a breaking news alert.
Breaking Browns news, and it's a bombshell. ODOT's aviation unit has denied the Haslam Sports Group permit to build a new dome stadium in Brook Park. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Versansky. So ODOT claims the building would be too high and interfere with air traffic at Hopkins.
I'm sorry, I'm going to pause it real quick. I just want to point out there are some shenanigans, I think, going on here. That's kind of why I pulled the story up, and see if you can figure out what I'm talking about when you listen to this.
Yo, man, it's too high.
Yo, man, too high. Yeah, you'll catch it. Listen.
Jeff Slauson joins us now with these breaking details. I think this letter from ODOT was a surprise to the Haslam Sports Group, too.
Yeah, this was shocking for many reasons here. Number one, the FAA had already said that it was clear for the Browns to be able to build the stadium and that it would not have any issues with air traffic related to Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. That's number one. Number two, Haslam Sports Group claims they never applied for the permit that they got denied for. So there's a lot of confusion as to what they actually are getting denied for if, again, they never applied for it. In the official letter that was sent from ODOT, they gave this map. This is Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. Right here is the generic area in which the Brown Stadium would take place. Now, they claim...
So he's looking at a map of, it looks like the traffic patterns around and how they come in and land on different runways and stuff. And he kind of points out where it's at. And it is right next to or right under one of the flight paths, it looks like.
Right.
Because it is within this zone here, it has to be below a certain threshold. Now, in the map that they actually showed, it's unclear which threshold the Browns would be breaking here. So the specifics when it comes to what they're accused of not being able to follow through with and what was denied, again, a little hazy in this. 58 feet too tall, essentially, is what ODOT is claiming. They say that the highest point of the stadium, again, a little hazy in this. 58 feet too tall, essentially, is what ODOT is claiming. They say that the highest point of the stadium needs to be reduced by 58 feet, and then the Brown Stadium would be in accordance with what they deem as not causing any issues with traffic control for the airport. Again, the FAA said they had no issues with that. So what they put it at is it cannot exceed 150 feet. Then they continue on to say that 163 feet would be approved. So some confusion even in just how tall the actual stadium could be. So the two solutions that are provided from ODOT, you either make the stadium about 50 feet shorter to about 163 feet tall, which would include then building deeper into the ground and then changing, obviously, the permitting process, or moving it further away from the airport. Let's bring that map up again really quickly here to show you what that potentially could entail. Again, this area here, this is where the stadium would go in. Right now, it's portioned for the northern lot of this. There is a potential they can move it further south, but there's also a chance that that doesn't even go with the way that ODOT wants that to be. Now, we are still waiting for a comment from Brook Park on this. However, we did get a statement from Haslam Sports Group reading, quote, "Our aviation consultants were surprised by ODOT's letter from 2 weeks ago, which is flatly at odds with the FAA's careful analysis and determinations resulting from well over a year of in-depth work. That found our proposed stadium poses no airspace hazards. They've also noted several other existing structures in Ohio that exceed the height ODOT apparently now finds objectionable. It's already begun working collaboratively with ODOT to explain the stadium's heights and the detailed work we've done more fully, which shows no safety or efficiency issues to Cleveland Hopkins International Airports. The obvious question is what comes next? ODOT has allowed a 30-day window for this to basically be discussed by Haslam Sports Group and ODOT. They can go back at them for it. We're about halfway through that time frame. Haslam's also hoping to actually speak with ODOT in person before the formal process to say they don't agree with this takes place. But all of this falls into a timeline. The Browns want to start construction in 2026, and new permits, obviously, not a part of that.
There you go. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. So the Browns got denied for a permit that they didn't apply for. And reading through some other reports, it sounds like, according to 19 News, the mayor of Brook Park, 19 News is the one who told the mayor of Brook Park about this letter. He hadn't seen it yet. He hadn't heard about it yet. So I'm like, And then I see this post on X from the Cuyahoga County Board of Commissioners, and it says, it's talking about this and how Renee's been, against it, all this other stuff. And I said, I said, this is interesting. So then I pull up another clip. So this came out yesterday or yesterday afternoon, the clip we just saw. And I think yesterday evening they had another report on it, which I listened to, I watched, and I thought, this is kind of interesting. The Browns got denied a permit they didn't apply for. How did that happen? Let's listen.
Cuyahoga County Executive Chris Ronayne has been a vocal critic regarding the team's plans to leave Cleveland, citing air and ground traffic concerns, among others. In July, Ronayne wrote letters to ODOT and the Federal Aviation Administration asking for a meeting and impact analysis. There's no indication his letters caused this denial, but something caught ODOT's attention.
This is, as proposed, going to be the closest stadium in the country to an airport. And when you look at that fact, there's all kinds of problems that open up with that.
So my theory is they just want to try to delay the Browns as much as possible, because if they have to move the stadium, they're going to have to go through a permit process again, which will delay the beginning of construction.
Right.
Shenanigans.
Chris Ronayne, he's a Cuyahoga County executive.
Yep, he's the leader of the Board of County.
He does not want the stadium to move out of the lakefront.
He is hand in hand, let's just put it that way, with Mayor Bibb on that. Some would say hand in something else, but hey, hand in hand, I'll go with this clean show. So that was a little shocker. So here's the thing. FAA says okay, but the ODOT says it's not okay.
That makes no sense to me. But
I had brought up the fact that it is like right next to the airport, and around the same time they announced this, I had coincidentally seen this Fantastic Horrors, I think is the name of the YouTube channel.
I remember you mentioning that.
And it was like a small, 3-seat plane that landed and crashed into a mall, which was directly next to an airport. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But hey, it's the chance you take to get a Brown stadium. I guess the risk you take. So I think they're just messing with them. I think it's going to be fine. They're going to figure it out, because really what they'll do is dig deeper, maybe, or move it. But they're saying if they move it, they're not sure if they still have the same problem.
Digging deeper might get into the water table too.
I would imagine they're going down. They're going pretty far down. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would change a lot of things. They'd have to reissue all the permits and all the plans. So how does ODOT know anything about the stadium height if the Browns didn't give them the information? They might be going off of a letter from Ronayne, maybe. I'm sure that had nothing to do with it, Tom. Complete coincidence. All right. So on that, we'll keep an eye on that. That's some interesting stuff, but I think they'll get past it, because Haslam's have lots of money and lawyers, so they should be fine. On to our final segment for the day, which of course...
hang on one second. Let me break you there.
Please.
I just wanted... There's one... Before we go into the good segment, I wanted to mention everybody. We mentioned this in show number 9. It's about the Spotted Lantern flies.
Yeah.
Have you seen any?
I don't think I have.
Okay, I just saw a couple here in our garden. And at work, I work close to the lakefront, and our parking lot was just full of them.
So those weird spotted looking ones, or
they're spotted, and they light it they light up. They're a gift from China.
China.
And I think we were spotting them last year, and they were just telling everybody to kill them when you see them. Yeah. So everybody Google spotted lanternfly and try to Google or try to find what they make these nests in trees and destroy them, because they can actually take over. They'll eat your oak trees. And they don't eat the leaves. They don't eat the bark. They get the sap out, and I think that kind of poisons the trees.
Vampire flies.
Yeah, kind of.
From China. I mean,
I'm not somebody that knows everything about that, but we don't have the trees that they eat in China, or that they devour in China. So they look for fruit trees here. I think there's some oak which makes sense, because if it's an oak tree making nuts, then that would fill that. And there's a couple other trees. So, if you're seeing these strange, they look like a big moth with black spots on their wings, and they got like red dots on their black bodies. They're bizarre looking. I started seeing them at work as beetles, and I didn't know what they were at first, because they kind of just look like a red beetle almost, or a white or red dotted beetle, and then they turn into these moth looking things.
What are they called again?
Spotted lanternflies.
Okay.
Just Google it, look up what the nests look like, and get rid of them if you see them. Because
kill the lanternflies.
Yeah. And that was I don't know if we have a link in our show notes from show number 9, but
we'll put one in this one.
Yeah.
Kill the lanternflies. That's what I'm putting in there. Kill the rabbit. All right. Thank you for that. That's good news. Good thing. Kill those suckers before they I don't know.
Yeah.
Take over China.
Well, before they people like growing their own fruit, apple trees and cherry trees and plum trees and all that. Just be on the lookout for them, because they can destroy.
They've already
that.
taken over our 5G. Don't let them take over our flies too. Okay.
Yeah.
On to the good things.
We bring good things to life.
Well, we got a few of them this week. One, we'll circle back around. We had talked about the Hulk Hogan American Freestyle League that is launching in Cleveland on Wednesday, August 20th. And they have planned a tribute to their late founder. So this is a league that he had been promoting and helping get up and running. And with his recent passing, they're gonna do a little tribute. And the first launch is going to be in Cleveland on the 20th. So keep an eye out for that. If you're a wrestling fan, I think check it out, because it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looked really cool. It's more of I don't think it's like big time wrestling, right?
No,
it's more of a real wrestling thing,
right? Less pomp and circumstance, maybe sound like, but more wrestling.
Yeah.
So check out a little bit of a twist, but do a little something for the Hulk.
Yes.
Next on our list is, I think you put this up from last week, wasn't it? Garlic Fest.
Oh, okay. Were you going to do the Vet Fest? Let's do this first.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Because I got a clip on the Vet Fest.
Food and Wine called it the smelliest food festival in America. And August 23rd and Sunday, August 24th, there is a garlic festival.
It is at... I just saw it. And it just went away.
Shaker Square.
Shaker Square. I put it in my note. It's literally in my notes, and I'm not looking at it.
All proceeds benefit North Union Farmers Market.
That's what I kept getting stuck on. Okay, I have it right here in the notes. August 23rd and 24th is Shaker Square Garlic Fest. Definitely no vampire flies at that place.
Yeah, no. It's just going to be a bunch of different garlic-centric food. So,
which
actually,
always yummy.
Kind of, yeah. I love garlic, so. Garlic fries, garlic ice cream, even garlic beer. Dear Lord.
The garlic ice cream, I'd at least try. I would try.
I don't know about that.
I'd try it, at least. I wouldn't buy it.
Well, you know what? Cream and garlic, that's not so... that's a lot of it.
The beer and garlic, I'm not so sure about. I'm thinking those two flavors, but you never know.
Garlic fries, though, sound good.
Garlic fries are tremendous.
Yeah.
Parmesan garlic fries even better.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm hungry.
Yeah, I am too.
Check it out. Sorry. And last but definitely not least, we have coming up on August 22nd and 23rd in North Ridgeville is the fourth annual Garlic Fest.
Garlic Fest?
Who's the one that hasn't eaten in 3 days? Wait, the Vet Fest. Vet Fest. I got a little clip here. Let's check it out. What it's all about. Maybe somebody will get it right, not me. That's for sure.
They're calling it the Legacies of Legends, and you'll soon know why. Our series continues now, getting ready for Vet Fest 2025. A great way to acknowledge veterans, do some good, and have some fun.
Well, we actually made the stage bigger.
It's huge. It seems like everything will be bigger and better at the 4th annual Vet Fest. The 2-day event is scheduled for August 22nd and 23rd at Victory Park in North Ridgeville. It's a festival of music and fun, but its purpose is so much bigger. It celebrates the sacrifices made by U.S. veterans, raising money for veterans in need. But that's not all.
It's just as important as raising the money as spreading the awareness, and letting these veterans know they're not alone.
Tom is a U.S. Navy veteran himself. He says proceeds from the event go to vetted organizations that help veterans in need, especially those in crisis.
We're tired of losing our brothers and sisters.
This space will be full of food trucks, vendors, and hopefully thousands of people. The musical acts on that big stage include the grandson of Waylon Jennings, Way Jennings. Thomas Gabriel, the grandson of Johnny Cash, is scheduled to appear. So is Jesse Keith Whitley, the son of Lori Morgan and Keith Whitley, all here to help serve those who have served.
Hey, good feeling.
VetFest organizers are giving News 5 viewers an added bonus as well. You can look for this story at news5cleveland.com and see how you can save 25% on your ticket price to VetFest 2025.
Sorry, you were saying?
They talked about Way Jennings, Thomas Gabriel, and Jesse Keith Whitley, but they skipped right over Hank Williams IV.
Oh.
That was just weird.
Yeah, that's because that's more of a recognizable name than the other one guy was.
Well, you got Jennings. I mean, everyone knows Waylon Jennings.
Yeah, but
Thomas Gabriel, I didn't know. I didn't recognize the name because it's not Cash.
Right, that's what I meant. Why would you go with that one and not the one that's...
Yeah. Hank Williams IV, I haven't heard yet. I know the third is, you got Junior and then there's the third who tours regularly. I haven't heard of Hank Williams IV yet. So. Yeah. So, interesting. Cool. Cool stuff.
This coming weekend in North Ridgeville at Victory Park. Is that what it was?
Yeah, on the Friday's music lineup, I think, is mostly local stuff. Bad Juju, Modern Vinyl, Josie and the Corruption, which I've never heard of, and Rick O'Shea, which those last two might not be local.
Looks pretty good. And you get 25% off. You go to the News Channel website, and they got some coupon there. So if you're going, check it out and get a little discount. And have some fun. So it looks like a good event. It's supposed to be a nice weekend for it. So, well, wait. That's next weekend. So
you know what? Head to the Garlic Fest first. Eat up some garlic.
Drink garlic beer.
And then go to the Vet Fest. Go from east to west. And when you want a good seat, everybody will back away because you will stink.
Yeah, you'll be plenty of elbow room. Hence the garlic beer.
Yes. Can you imagine those burps?
Clear a room, probably. Or at least a 30-foot radius if you're outside. Hopefully. I like it. Yeah. Good tips. Good tips for our listeners.
You'll be in the front row.
We've got all of them. We got all the good tips for you guys. Don't worry. just come here for all those good tips. That's for sure. All right. I think that wraps us up, Tom. I think we have another week, another show down. Start preparing for the next one. I appreciate everybody for listening. We really do appreciate. Go check out our website, crookedrivercast.com. Send us an email, crookedrivercast@gmail.com. Go see where we're at on X. We have a blog post at the website for every show with some links and all kinds of information. So as we build it, more will be there. So again, appreciate everybody for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Peace.